Hi, welcome to HeKate's Crossing. Now today's book review is a book by Scott Cunningham called Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. This is one of my favourite Wicca books. There's so much good information that allows us to develop within oneself, allowing us to work out what's of value to our own practice, our own rituals, our own workings within the sacred circle, how we choose to live our life daily. I love this book. It's Explore a Sacred Solitary Path with Wicca, a guide for the solitary practitioner. Okay, and by the Celtic Connection, this is one of the most widely recommended books you will hear mentioned when talking to anyone who walks these paths. Countless thousands have come to understand and embrace the Lord and the Lady through the words and the wisdom revealed within. Okay, and the enchanting news. A positive, practical introduction to Wicca designed so that any interested person can learn to practice alone anywhere in the world. It's just one of my favourite books. Scott Cunningham authored more than 30 books, both fiction and non-fiction, including Earth, Air, Fire and Water, Earth Power, Magical Aromatherapy, Magical Herbalism, and Living Wicca, a further guide for the solitary practitioner. Okay, what I love about this book, even as a beginner, I found it had so much information. I just want to read you a little bit throughout the book, a little bit of the introduction. Wicca, the religion of the witches, has long been shrouded in secrecy. Anyone interested in learning the craft had to content themselves with hints from books and articles. The Wiccans wouldn't say much, save that they weren't looking for new members. Growing numbers of people today are dissatisfied with traditional religious structures. Many are searching for a personally involving religion, one that celebrates both physical and spiritual realities, in which attunement with deity is coupled with the practice of magic. Wicca is just such a religion, centering around reverence for nature, seen in the goddess and the god. Its spiritual roots and antiquity, acceptance of magic and mysterious nature have made it particularly appealing. Until recently, the lack of public information concerning Wicca and its apparent exclusivity has caused much frustration among interested students. Wicca doesn't seek new members. This has been a major stumbling block to those wishing to learn its rites and ways of magic. Wicca doesn't solicitate because, unlike most Western religions, it doesn't claim to be the one true way to deity. With growing numbers interested in practicing Wicca, perhaps it's time to allow the full light of the dawning Aquarian age to illuminate these ways. To do so is not to trumpet Wicca as the salvation of our planet, but simply to present it to anyone who dares to hear or dares to learn. There are many obstacles. In the past, the only way to enter Wicca was to contact an initiated Wicca, usually a coven member, and be received into initiation. If you didn't know any witches, you were out of luck, for initiation was an absolute prerequisite. Today, times are changing. We are maturing, perhaps too quickly. Our technology outpaces the wisdom to utilize it. Your vast unrest spreads over the globe, and the threat of war looms over most of the more than 6 billion persons alive today. Wicca as a religion is changing too. This is necessary if it is to be more than a curiosity of an earlier age. The heirs of Wicca must point their religion firmly to the future if it is to have something to offer coming generations. Since we've arrived at the point where one mishap could end our planet as we know it, there has never been a time when Wicca as a nature-reverencing religion has had more to offer. This book breaks many Wicca conventions. It has been structured so that anyone anywhere in the world can practice Wicca. No initiations are required. It is designed for the solitary practitioner, since finding others with similar interests can be difficult, but not so much now with the YouTube. I mean, when this book was written, of course, things were a little bit different. But now with technology and with the YouTube, with Instagram, with Twitter and such, finding others of like minds have become so much easier. So we are lucky. Wicca is a joyous religion springing from our kinship with nature, as merging with the goddess and the gods, the universal energies that created all in existence. It is personal, positive celebration of life, and now it is available to all. So let us begin looking at section 1. I just want to have a really quick look, just so that you can sort of understand a little bit about, maybe you're coming to Wicca, you're exploring YouTube, you're finding different person's point of views and options. So here's one from Scott Cunningham, Wicca and Shamanism. Shamanism has been defined as the first religion. It existed prior to the earliest civilization, before our ancestors took the first steps down the long journey to the present. Prior to this time, the shamans were the medicine people, the power welders, male and female. They wrought magic and spoke to the spirits of nature. The shamans were the first human with knowledge. They created, discovered, nurtured, and used it. Knowledge is power. Women and men who possessed it in those far-flung days were shamans. How did shamans capture or discover their power? Through ecstasy, alternate states of consciousness in which they communed with the forces of the universe. Early shamans first attained this state through the use of such tools. Sorry, I'm going to cough. Excuse me. It's clear my throat. As fast, thirst, self-infliction of pain, ingestion of hallucinogenic substances, concentration, and so on. Once mastered, these techniques allowed them to gain awareness of other non-physical worlds. Through such awareness shifts, all magical knowledge was attained. Confidence with spirits and deities, plants and animals opened up new vistas of learning. Among their own people, the shamans often shared some of this knowledge, but reserved the rest for personal use. Shamanic lore wasn't for public consumption. Later shamans advanced in the use of tools to facilitate these awareness shifts, marking the advent of magical ritual. Shamans around the world still use tools such as drums, rattles, reflective objects, music, chants, and dance. Indeed, the most effective shamanic rites are those that utilize both natural and artificial tools. A sighing wind, roaring ocean, flickering firelight, steady drumbeat, hiss of wrestle. These combined with darkness and chance eventually overwhelm the senses, forcing a shifting form awareness of the physical world to the vaster realm of energies, such as shamanic rites that exist to this day. From these primitive beginnings arose all magic and religion, including Wicca. Despite current controversy as to the antiquity of Wicca, it is spiritually descended from such rites. Though refined and changed for our world, Wicca still touches our souls and causes ecstasy, awareness shifts, uniting us with deity. Many of the techniques of Wicca are shamanic in origin. Wicca therefore can be described as a shamanic religion. As with shamanism, only a select few feel compelled to enter its circle of light. Today, Wicca has dropped the ordeals of pain and the use of hallucinogenics in favour of chanting, meditation, concentration, visualization, music, dance, invocation, and ritual drama. With these spiritual tools, the Wicca achieve a state of ritual consciousness similar to those attained by the most brutal shamanic ordeals. I deliberately used the term alternate states of consciousness, such as change consciousness states aren't unnatural, deviation from the normal waking consciousness. Wicca teaches that nature includes a broad spectrum of mental and spiritual states of which most of us are ignorant. Effective Wiccan rituals enables us to slip into such states, allowing communication and communion with the goddess and the god. Unlike some religions, Wicca doesn't view deity as distant, that goddess and god are both within ourselves and manifest in all of nature. This is the universally, there is nothing that isn't of the gods. The study of shamanism reveals much of the heart of magical and religious experiences in general, and Wicca in particular. With ritual as a means to enter ritual consciousness, the shaman or Wicca constantly expands his or her knowledge, and knowledge is power. Wicca helps its practitioners to understand the universe and our place within it. At present, Wicca is a religion with many variants. Because it is such a personally structured system, we can only state generalities about its creed and form. Filtered through our experiences and knowledges, we create a picture of nature within Wicca. Wicca is in common with many other religions, recognise deity as dual. It reserves both the goddess and the god. They are equal, warm and loving, not distant or resident in heaven, but omnipresent throughout the universe. Wicca also teaches that the physical world is one of many realities. The physical is not the absolute highest expression, nor is the spiritual purer than the base. The only difference between the physical and the spiritual is that the former is denser. As in Eastern religions, Wicca also embraces the doctrine of reincarnation, the much misunderstood subject. Unlike some Eastern philosophies, however, Wicca doesn't teach that upon physical death our souls will reincarnate in anything other than a human body. Also, few of the Wicca believe we begin our existence as rocks, trees, snails, or birds before we evolve to the point where we could incarnate as a human being. Through these creatures and substances do not possess a type of soul. It's not the sort of human we humans have. Reincarnation is accepted as fact by many millions in the East and the West. It answers many questions. What happens after death? Why do we seem to remember things we've never done in the life? Why are we sometimes strangely attracted to places for people we've never been before, or we've never seen? Surely reincarnation can't answer all these questions, but it is there for those who wish to study it. This isn't something which should be believed. Through contemplation, meditation, and self-analysis, many come to the point where they accept reincarnation in fact. For more information on the subject, there is a chapter in this book called The Spiral of Rebirth. The Wiccan ideal of morality is simple. Do what you want as long as you harm none. This rule contains another unwritten condition. Do nothing that will harm yourself. Thus, if you as a Wicca abuse your body, deny it the necessities of life, or otherwise harm yourself, you're in violation of this principle. This is more than survival. It also ensures that you'll be in good condition to take on the task of preserving and bettering our world. First, for concern and love for our planet plays major role in Wicca. Wicca is a religion that utilizes magic. This is one of the most appealing and unique features, religious magic. This isn't as strange as it might seem. Catholic priests use magic to transform a piece of bread into the body of a long-deceased saviour. Prayer, a common tool in many religions, is simply a form of concentration and communication with deity. If the concentration is extended, energies are sent out with the thoughts that may in time make the prayer come true. Prayer is a form of religious magic. Magic is the practice of moving natural, though little understood, energies to effect needed change. In Wicca, magic is used as a tool to sanctify ritual areas and to improve ourselves in the world in which we live. Many people confuse Wicca and magic as if the two worlds were interchangeable. Wicca is a religion that embraces magic. If you seek only to practice magic, Wicca probably isn't the answer for you. Another fundamental point, magic isn't a means of forcing nature to do your will. That is a completely erroneous idea fostered by the belief that magic is somehow supernatural, as if anything that exists can be outside of nature. Magic is natural. It is a harmonious movement of energies to create needed change. If you wish to practice magic, all thoughts of it being paranormal and supernatural must be forgotten. Most Wiccans don't believe in predestination. Although we honour and revere the goddess and the god, we know that we're free souls with full control and responsibility of our lives. We can't point at an image of an evil god such as Satan and blame it on for our faults and weaknesses. We can't blame fate. Every second of each day we're creating our futures, shaping the courses of our lives. Once a Wiccan takes full responsibility for all that she or he has done in this life and past lives, and determines that future actions will be in accord with higher ideals and goals, magic will blossom and life will be a joy. That perhaps it is the core of Wicca, is the joyous union with nature. The earth is a manifestation of divine energy. Wicca's temples are flower-splashed meadows, forests, beaches and deserts. When a Wicca is outdoors, she or he is actually surrounded by sanctity, much as it is a Christian when entering a church or cathedral. Additionally, all nature is constantly seen to us, revealing her secrets. Wiccans listen to the earth. They don't shut out the lessons that she is so desperately trying to teach us. When we lose touch with our blessed planet, we lose touch with deity. There are some of the basic principles of Wicca. They are the true Wicca. The rituals and myths are secondary to the ideals and serve to celebrate them. The Standing Stones Book of Shadows ritual book included in Section 3 is a guide to constructing your own ritual. Because these rituals are out of form only, you needn't be chained to them. Change rites as the mood strikes you. As long as the rite attunes with you with the deities, all is fine. Don't shut out the physical world in favour of the spiritual or magical realms, for only through nature can we experience these realities. We are here on the earth for a reason. Do, however, use ritual to expand our awareness, so that you are truly at one with all creation. The way is open. The ancient goddess and god await within and around you. May they bless you with wisdom and power. Take a moment, take a breath, and focus on those words that I've read. Explore this book. I recommend get a copy for yourself if you want to explore this path of Wicca. Even if you've been travelling the path for 20 odd years, this is another book. If you haven't read it, read it. I love it. I lost my original copy through shifting, so I went out and purchased another one just recently. This is just a book that I've repurchased, one of my favourites. So just go through, take a breath, and think about what Wicca means to you. Take your Book of Shadows and write down what Wicca means to you. What does reincarnation mean to you? What is ritual? What is magic? What does being in nature mean to you? What is using tools? What does the Wiccan reed mean to you? Do what you will, let it harm none. What does that mean to you? How do you choose to live your life by being Wiccan? Take a breath, take a moment, reflect, contemplate, meditate. Blessed be. This is Paula from HeKate's Crossing. Most recommended book. Take care.